Hi, Astrid. Good evening. Astrid, are you there?
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
How is everything?
Everything is okay, teacher. Thank you. And you? How are you?
Everything is fine. Thank you for asking. Astrid, do me a favor. We're going to start in 1 minute, please. The coordinator is calling me. So give me a second, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm back. So we're gonna start with today's classes, right? And I'm going to share my screen with you. So before to continue, I would like to know until what part we stopped. I guess it was until, I don't know if you remember, if you took notes about it.
Okay, we talk about infinitives of their adjectives and nouns.
Great. Okay. So I'm going to assign you the homework, right? So, okay. Before to continue, I'm going to assign you the homework, right? You're going to have enough time to complete them. And the quiz, right? The quiz of this model. This model, I mean, of this B3. And you are going to have until Sunday, right? 25 Sunday. Yes, okay. You're going to have until midnight, right? So you're going to have almost a week. For the quiz, you're going to have 59 minutes. And yes, that will be, right? So the homework and the quiz is already assigned. So please take a look. And if you have any question about the quiz or the homework, just let me know, right?
Great, teacher. Thank you.
All right, don't worry. So today's lesson, it's about, oh, we saw future in the past or not?
Future in the past.
Yes. I'm going to share my screen with you. Maybe, I don't know if it was with my other student, my other group. So, do you remember?
No, teacher, I think that we didn't talk about that.
Oh, okay, okay. So maybe I got confused with my other groups. So this lesson is very easy, right? It's not something new, right? It's about future in the past. I was going to stay home. I was going to drive. I was going to study medicine, but then I decided to study another career, right? So that structure that yes, that instruction is part of the future in the past. So first of all, we're gonna listen the audio.
Hi, guess what I did last night? I was going to stay home and watch TV, but I went to a soccer game instead. Was going to is an example of the future in the past. Let's learn about this form.
Okay, so we have I was going to stay home. All right, so let's continue. First of all, we're going to talk about when do we have to use it, right? And then we have two uses for it if we can call it that, right? Almost two uses, but everything is related about something in the past, right? So let's listen to the first audio.
We use the future in the past to talk about future plans that we made in the past.
I was just going to call you.
This means that Tony had planned to call Talia.
Okay, so the first use of the future in the past is to talk about future plans that we made in the past, right? I was just going to call you, right? Maybe you just arrived, but as I couldn't see you, I was just going to call you, right? It was a plan that I had, but you just came. So it's unnecessary to call you, right? So that's the situation. One of the situations that we can use this structure future in the past to talk about future plans that we made in the past. I was just going to call you, right? Let's continue with the second point.
Most of the time, we use the future in the past to talk about planned events that didn't happen. In the example, Talia had planned to check that the recording function on her app was on, but she didn't do it.
Okay, so we were supposed to have an example here, but I don't know what happened. Well, another use of the future in the past, most of the time, is when we talk about planned events that didn't happen, right? This is the principal use of this structure feature in the past. For example, I was going to call you, but my cell phone turned off, right? It was a plan that I had, but it didn't happen because my cell phone turned off, right? I was, the example that I gave you a minute ago, I was going to study medicine, but then I decided, or I chose another career, right? So when you're going to plan something and for a reason it couldn't happen, you're going to use the future in the past. To talk about those planned events, right? We were planning that, but something happened. As a result, it never happened, right? So yes, that could be the principal use, the main reason of it, right? So do you have any question about this point?
And the structure teacher is like in was or were plus going to, right?
Yes, yes, you get it, right? This is the
That's all.
structure. We're going to listen, but it's very simple, right? It's not something new, as I told you, right? So we could have was, were. Oh, what is this? Okay, was, were, plus going to. This is the be in the past, right? It's basically it is be going to, but the be, the verb to be, is in the past, so you only have two options, right? Tony was going to, and then you have the option to decide the verb you want, and according to your context, for sure, right? So, do you have any question, maybe?
No, teacher, it's clear. Thank you.
All right, that's great. So, okay, that's all. It's a short lesson, as I told you. So, okay, we're gonna practice a little bit. As I told you, this is not something new, right? It's it's part of be going to. We know how to use it, right? The negative, it goes to the something that I was forgetting. The negative, I wasn't going to call you. I was not going to call you, right? They were not going to travel, right? They were going to travel, right? I was going to travel. Okay. So for the negative, if you want to form a negative, it goes to the verb to be, right? Yeah, so let's continue. I'm going to, oh, no. Sorry. Okay, so, okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Once you can see it, please let me know.
Yes, teacher, I can see.
Thank you. Can you please read the instruction?
Okay. Read each sentence, click on the box and choose the correct answer.
Okay.
Talia and Nick and we're going to go to college together. They were in the same English class.
They went?
We're going to go.
No. Why? The first one is went, because don't forget that we use future in the past to talk about those plans, those events that didn't happen. They were planned, but finally it didn't happen. Okay, so we have in the context, they were in the same English class. So what does it mean? That they went to the college?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. In college, Nick was going to ask Talia out, but he never did.
Right.
And Tony was going to give John the crowbar story, but he gave it to Talia instead. Talia wasn't going to call Jackie, but she went to see her instead.
Talia wasn't going to call Jackie, or was? The plan of Talia was, for example, we're going to talk, I'm going to be Talia, right? I was going to call Jackie, but instead, no, I went to see her instead, right? So I had a plan, and my plan was to call Jackie, right? So it was my plan, but I never called Jackie because I went to see her instead. So what do you think? Talia was going to call Jackie, iba a llamar a Jackie, pero fue a verla en lugar de, bueno, en lugar de ir a verla, perdón, de llamarle, fue a ver. ¿Ok?
Okay. Tony was going to air a story about Nick, but he decided to wait. He wanted to speak to Talia first. Tony and John were going to have dinner at Valentino's one night, but they couldn't get a reservation. Where?
Okay. So let's submit. And yes, now it's great, right? So I noticed that you have you get confused, right? You got confused about the use of this feature, about this structure, right? When we have plans, but for a reason, those plans couldn't happen, we have this structure, right? Most of the times we use this to talk about those esos planes frustrados, tal vez no sé si se podría llamar así, que teníamos planeado, pero por alguna razón no se dio, right? So, which one was it? For example, number 4. Talia was going to call Jackie. That was a plan, to call Jackie. I'm going to call Jackie. Okay, so at afternoon, no, you know what? I'm going to see her, right? So what was the first plan? Talia was going to call Jackie, but she went to see her instead. So the first plan was to call Jackie, but she preferred to do, or she preferred another thing. In this case, it was, she preferred to, she went to see her, right? So yes, that's the use of this structure, right? To talk about those plans that couldn't happen. I had a plan, but it couldn't happen. I was thinking on doing that, but for a reason I couldn't, right? I was going to study medicine, but then I decided to study languages, right? So do you have any question maybe, or now is it clear, or do you have any problem? How was it?
Okay, teacher, and I think it's clear now because I forgot that it was for a planning that never happened.
Yes, most of the time, right? Tony and John were going to have dinners at Valentino's. As you can see, we have but. That's something that we use for I was going to do that, but something happened. Okay, so to talk about those plans that couldn't happen for any reason, we're going to use this structure. And now we're going to keep practicing. In this case, we're going to continue with the second structure. The second practice, I mean. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so please, could you read the instruction?
Complete the dialogue, choose a verb from the answer pool, type in the correct form of the title in the path into the blank.
Great.
Hi, Josh. It's me, Amy. Amy, hi. Okay, I call you this minute. How it's going?
I call you.
Mm. Okay, okay. Mm.
What do you think?
I
Hi,
was
Josh.
going.
It's me, Amy. Amy, hi. You just this minute. How's it going? So,
I was going to call. I
okay.
don't know. This Crawford story is beginning to get me down. I feel so bad for Talia. Talia, why? What happened? Well, she only had a planned day. Um, okay, um, um, they were going to prove.
They were going
Going to prove that Nick was there. Talia had recorded a conversation between one of Nick's teammates and his sister. And but um, she was going to play.
oh, she was going to play.
But there was no audio as it turned out. She forgot to press the record button. Oh no, that's terrible. What is she going to do now? I don't know. She and Nick. And and um, um, and she and Nick was going to celebrate. We're going
She
to
and
celebrate.
me. Okay. Were
Going to celebrate tonight, but speaking of tonight, do you have any plans? Well, I was going to watch TV and then go to bed early.
I was going
To watch TV and then go to bed early. What about you? I was going to go to a movie. Going to go to a movie, but then some friends invited me to dance.
So that will be right. Thanks, Josh. Maybe I will. Do you want to modify something?
No, teacher.
Okay, let's check. Okay. All right. It was hi. I was going to. Oh, I forgot to write the space. My God. Let's take a view. I was going to call. Yes, it was great, and we were going to prove. In this case, I forgot to write the space, right? So
Okay.
that was the reason of it. The first one, it was call. Maybe I had a mistake in my writing, right? Because you chose call, right? Did you choose call, right? Yes. So it was my mistake. I forgot to write the space, right? But it was great. The first one you said I was going to call you just this minute. They were going to prove, right? So it was my spelling. So I'm so sorry. So do you have any question, maybe?
No, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So, okay, we're going to continue with, okay. All right. So, we're going to continue with the second lesson, right? Because we have enough time. And this is about passive causative, right? Let's listen the audio.
Hello. Next weekend, I'm going to have my apartment painted. I don't have time to paint it myself, so I hired someone to do it for me. Have my apartment painted is an example of the passive causative. Let's learn about this form.
Okay. So I have my apartment painted, right? This is part of this lesson, passive causative. This structure is very, very curious, right? But it's not difficult, right? So let's pay attention to the audio.
We use the passive causative to talk about services that another person does for us.
I had Nick framed so that he looked guilty.
This means that Dean asked his sister Jackie to make Nick look guilty of taking a bribe. He didn't pretend to be from Kick's shoes himself.
Okay, so what happened? It was supposed to mark, right? So we have this lesson, the passive causative. When we're gonna use this when, well, to talk about services that another person does for us. I'm not going to do. I'm going to pay maybe another person to do something for me, right? To talk when we go to the, for example, to the hairdress, right? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna ask for this girl to the hairdresser to do my hair, right? So how can I say? I had my hairdresser, right? I had my hairdresser, right? So I'm talking about another person, right? But maybe I pay this girl to do it, but I'm not part of it. You know, I didn't do anything. I just pay her in order to get my hair dressed cut, for example, right? I get my hair dress cut, right? So what does it mean? That I had another person to do something for me, right? In the example we have, I had Nick framed so that he looked guilty, right? So as you can see, Tom is not implying this in this part, right? It's not part of it. So, for example, if I'm going to say, okay, the man had the man had his car fixed by, well, it's not important, but by the mechanic. Okay, let's take a view. In this example, the man had his car fixed. He paid to the mechanic in order to, well, to do his services, right? So who fixed the car? The mechanic, right? The man, it's not part of the job, right? So, do you have any question about point number 1?
No, teacher.
Okay. So, for example, if I'm going to say, I don't know, I had my hair cut. I had my hair cut, right? It doesn't mean that I cut my hair. I paid to a hairdresser in order to this girl could cut my hair and paint it. I don't know, right? And colorate it, but I'm not part of it. I just took a seat, and that's all. Then I pay her, but I'm talking about the service. I pay about the service that another person did for me. Okay, so is everything clear until this point? Do you know now what is a passive causative?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so again, we use this structure to talk about services or activities that people arrange for someone else to do, right? The president had his speech written by a very talented group of writers, for example. Peter had his house repaired after the tornado last year. So everything is about services or activities that another person makes for us. So let's continue with the second point.
We can also use the passive causative to talk about something that causes something else to happen. We usually use get and not have for this meaning.
This is the recording that will get Nick reinstated.
Okay. What happened with the audio? I don't know. Okay, well, to form this structure, the passive causative, oh no, this is the second use. The second use of the passive causative is when something causes something else to happen, right? We actually use get, right? Not have, right? So when we're going to get is informal, it's a little bit more informal, right? But it's a talk about something that causes something else to happen. Do you remember the causative verbs?
The causative verb.
Get, let, have.
Yes, yes, teacher. Make.
Okay. Do you remember the verb get?
Get is. I remember that was for me, maybe convince the other person.
It's like
Persuade.
to ask, instruct, request someone to do something, right? Or making the person to do something indirectly, right? In this case, we're going to use get for those cases, right? To request maybe another person to do something for us, or we can do it in an indirectly way, right? So to talk about something that causes something else to happen, we usually use get. This is the recording that will get Nick reinstated, right? So what does it mean? That Nick, right, will be reinstated because of the recording, right? That's the meaning of it. Yes, but the only difference, Astrid, is the structure. We're going to change the structure, right? But we're going to see it forward. Now we know the use of have and get as a we already learned this in causative verbs, but the passive is when we focus on the receiver of an action. That's the difference, right? And now we're going to learn how to form this structure, this causative. Oh my goodness, passive causative.
We form the passive causative with have or get, plus a direct object, plus the past participle of the verb.
Talia gets her hair done at Fausto's hair salon. Or
Talia has her hair done at Fausto's hair salon.
These two sentences have the same meaning.
Okay, so what do we have in this point? To form the passive causative, as you remember, in the causative, we had another structure, right? With the infinitive, without infinitive, right? It depends on each causative verb. Now, to form the passive, we're gonna use for the two verbs, the two common verbs, in only one structure. We only are gonna need one structure. We're going to choose the subject for sure. Depends on the situation. We're gonna decide get or has. Then we're going to put in the middle our direct object. I mean, that object who is going to receive the action, right? Talia gets her hair, so who is going to get the hair done again, right? The object. What is the object? The hair, right? Talia gets her hair done at Fausto's hair salon. So that's the structure. Get or has. Well, have the object. I mean, this object is going to be could be the person or the thing, the object who is going to receive the action, and the verb in its participle form. Gets her hair done and has her hair done have the same meaning. Si ya sabíamos cómo utilizar los causative verbs, la única diferencia con el passive causative is the structure, right? Es la estructura. Cuando decimos pasivo, nos encontramos con quien recibe la acción, nos enfocamos en quien recibe la acción. Entonces, puedo optar por cualquiera de los causative verbs. Puedes escoger, no hay ningún problema. Todos los verbos, all the causative verbs se pueden conjugar en pasivo, no hay ningún problema, right? You can change the causative verbs into the passive causative, y esto requiere saber cada uno de los usos de los causative verbs. Entonces, have is for, have, I'm going to think, right? Have is for, let is for allow, to allow, make is to force, get to ask, have to combine or encourage, and help to aid, right? So if I want to change this, if I want to change something into the passive causative, I mean, I'm going to say that this subject is going to receive the action. I need to use this structure, right? Because we focus on the receiver of an action. We can also use something interesting about the passive causative is that we can conjugate it with all the time tenses. John has his car inspected. Let's take a view. This is a simple present, but I have has, I have the object. I have has is going to get, or I have get, I have right? Okay, I'm going to erase this. And then I'm going to see that my object goes in the middle. His car, he has gotten it. It is the object. It, then I have it, the tires replaced, right? Entonces puedo tener el objeto, puedo ponerlo como nombre, his car, en este caso car, o bueno, nombre directo sería the tires. Puedo ponerlo en algún pronombre, his car, it, right? Y por último va mi verbo en participio, inspected, done, inspected, painted, replaced, right? We're using a modal though, right? Estamos utilizando también un modal. So, that's a curious part. You can actually conjugate all the, well, you can conjugate the passive causative with all the tenses, right? And with modals, so why not? Okay. So I don't know if you have any question, maybe.
In the order of the foreign, in the number 4, John has his car inspected every year. As John has could I use in the form, for example, John has inspected his car every year, or it won't be okay?
It will be
Right.
incorrect,
Okay.
right? Was it your question?
To change the order of the verb, if I put after the auxiliary as, it will
in this
be
one?
incorrect. In the first.
Okay. So you're asking if you can change the order.
Mhm.
Okay, John has inspected his car. No, it's incorrect, right? That's a no. You have to follow the structure, right? Más allá de la estructura, el orden es lo que determina qué tipo de oración es, right? Entonces, por eso no podemos cambiar. Ok, si cambiamos el orden, estaría mal ubicado el verbo, right? So, always, I'm always going to use this structure. The subject, John, he, and them. The passive, the causative verb, has or get. You can actually use let, make, right? It depends on the context for sure. Then the object, his car, it, the tires, right? The tires are los frenos, right? The tires were placed too, right? Pero, y por último, at the last part, we're gonna place the verb in the participle form, so you can't change the order. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Okay. Oh no, the tires son los neumáticos, right? The tires are neumáticos. So, do you have any question?
No, teacher. That's all.
All right, let's continue. Okay.
We use by when we mention the person doing the service. We only mention the person doing the service when it provides important information.
Amy is getting her hair cut by the best hairdresser in town.
Okay. All right. We're going to use by at the end of the sentence when we mention the person doing the service, right? Amy's getting. You're going to notice that we're using another time tense. We're using the present continuous. Amy's getting her hair cut by the best hairdresser in town, right? This information, well, this is the person who is doing the service. to Amy, right? But when it's when the information, when it's an important information, we're only gonna use it. When it's not, it's unnecessary, right? My car was fixed. I get my car fixed by a mechanic. This by a mechanic, no, it's not a relevant information, so I'm gonna omit it, right? But when it's important, I get my I got my car repaired, no, painted by I don't know, by the best mechanic in the world, right, in the city. Now that's relevant information, so then I'm going to use by. But if it's unnecessary, but when it's not important, we're not going to do it. We're not gonna use it. Okay. Do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So let's practice. And where is it? All right. Oh no, it was not the. It was this one. Okay. So don't forget the structure, right? It's the subject, the causative verb, the object, and the verb in its participle form. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Could you please read the instruction?
Drag and drop each board into the correct place on the line. Your hair looks great. Thanks. I had it cut yesterday.
Great.
Did you get proof? Yes. Yes. I'm going to take my time, teacher, please.
For sure, don't worry. We have cleared. That's a participle verb. We have the object. We have the causative verb. We have this it's like a particle. We have the auxiliary verb, and we have the noun, right? This is a noun. So, okay, with those names, we're going to find the best order, right? So let's take a view. Did you get proof? Yes. So now you need a subject.
Right. Nick will get. Oh, no.
Okay, another thing that is going to help you. This word, this is with capital letter, right? Está con letra mayúscula. Entonces, si está con letra mayúscula, lo más probable es que vaya al principio porque está terminando con un punto aparte, punto seguido. So this, okay.
This recording.
All right.
And we'll get it clear.
Oh, we'll get it. Okay. So if you get proof, yes, this recording will get Nick cleared. All right, let's continue with the next
I'm
one.
going to buy a new TV today. Do you need help getting it home? Oh, that's okay. I'll have eaten delivered.
Great. I will have it delivered. Oh. Okay. All right. How did
How did Italian know that the first audio was funny? And she had
sorry?
she had
Okay. She had
um,
the object.
she had it
All right.
by an expert
Oh.
on
And the verb. She
it.
had
She
it
had it examined by an
examined.
expert.
She had it
By,
examined
by an
by,
expert.
by an expert. Okay.
The dishwasher is broken again. Oh no. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. It. We had
Okay.
it repaired.
All right. Twice this year.
It may be time to buy anyone.
Great.
Your car always looks new. And do you get it washed?
Do you get it washed
Washed every week. Yes, I take it to the car wash on Third Avenue.
Great. Now, okay. Here looks right. I have it just for I have here. Okay, let's submit. I'm nervous. Okay, let's submit and let's see how is everything. Great. It was great, right? You got 100, right? %. So congrats. It was great. Do you have any question, any opinion maybe?
No, teacher.
I know it gets difficult, right? Because of the structure, but we only have to we don't have to forget the structure. Yes, the structure is weird because we don't have something like that, right? But we don't have to forget the structure. If we know the structure, then it's going to be a piece of cake because we know the use of the passive causative, right? When we want to talk about another about services, yes, I got my hair cut, right? I get my car repaired. I get my car painted, right? So it's about services that another person does for us, right? So do you get it, Astrid? Any question maybe?
Yes, teacher. I think that I'm going to practice because for me now it's clear for now, but maybe I'm going to forget the structure.
Yes, that's the point. And it's not something new because it's part of the causative verbs. That's the reason of why we have to learn how to use the passive causative. No, I'm sorry, the causative verbs may have left because now we're going to use in other context, right? To talk about services, right? But the only thing that maybe I could recommend you could be I don't know, maybe it's a matter of practice. Es cuestión de practicar, right? Porque por el tema de la estructura, no tenemos algo en castellano, algo así en castellano. Me hice el cabello, no, podría ser me hice cortar el cabello, me hice cortar el cabello, estoy hablando de un servicio, right? Que alguien más lo hace por nosotros, pero la estructura es diferente, right? No tiene nada que ver con todo esto. Entonces, justamente como se puede conjugar con muchos tiempos, con todos los tiempos verbales en realidad, y que tenemos que saber los causative verbs, es súper importante repasar, porque más allá de la estructura es qué tipo de causative verbs podemos utilizar, en qué tiempo verbal puedo, cómo puedo conjugar el momento tiempo verbal en pasado, en futuro. I will have my hair, I will have my haircut, right? I'm talking in the future, but it's a matter of practice, so don't worry, right?
Okay, teacher.
All right, Astrid. So, do you have any question, maybe?
No, no, teacher.
All right, that's great. So, yes, that will be everything for today, Astrid. Thank you for your attention. I'm going to see you tomorrow at the same hour, right?
Okay.
All right, so I launched the poll. If you have any question, please let me know. I will be, I'm on my WhatsApp always. Okay, thank you, Astrid. So have a great night. I'm going to see you tomorrow, right?
Okay, teacher, see you tomorrow and bye-bye.
Bye, Astrid.